the camera dudes could not talk to us at all. But I kept like being like, you can get it if you want it. You know what I'm saying? Turn the camera off. Turn the camera off, homie.
Yo, this is Q&A Ronnie Ray Season 4, where I interview all my good friends from the game. Comedians, actors, writers, directors, and even people in the porn biz. That's right. You know, y'all seen those people. And y'all heard those great interviews. Learned all about their sexual escapades. It was wonderful. But today, I got a good friend of mine on this line, man. I had to hunt her down. I haven't seen her. I haven't seen you in like 8 years. You know that, right?
It's been a long time, Ronnie Ray. It's been a long time.
Long time. This girl's been all over. She's super funny. Southern girl. Classic. We discovered her on VH1 Flavor of Love, and she's here right now. My girl, Miss Courtney Goldie Jackson. I'm going to clap for you. Nobody's here.
What up, y'all? What's going on, Ronnie Ray?
What's going on, man? You're the...
Oh, man, nothing major, boo. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm holding it down back home in North Carolina. That's why you had to track me down.
Like, where is she? You've been on my list forever.
I know. Yeah, like, yo, like, I miss everything about, like back in the day, LA, us. I know you back in Chicago, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, man. Oh, it was dope. It was dope. They had to be there, Ronnie Ray. They had to be there.
Now, back in the day. That's there almost 15 years ago almost. Wow.
Oh my, that's yo, don't even say that. That's crazy.
The last show I did when I was there, before I moved back to Chicago, it was the Crack 'em Up Thursday's 10th anniversary.
Okay, that was at what? The High?
No, that was at the Comedy Store in the Shell. And Levi and them.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
She had all the hosts.
You know what? Because I did the Comedy Store Belly Room for my 30th birthday. And that was 2010. That was 2010. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, my waistline was snatched. I was looking thicker than a snooker. Yes. Yeah. I remember that. That was man. So it's cool. Yeah, I'm just back in the crib in North Carolina still, you know what I'm saying, still doing comedy, still performing. And but I went back to school though.
Oh, wow.
Go back and get that degree though.
Hold on, let's get to that. Let's get to that first. Let's go back. The first question I always ask people on the show is how did we meet? Do you remember how we met?
Wait, no, I remember. Okay, wait, not exactly like the day, like the time we met. I remember maybe like a day or two after that when I tried to go home with you.
You what?
When I tried to go home with you. Why you really fine though? What you fine though?
You the being comic.
I mean, you call me. You know I was gonna keep it real. So, but tell me, tell me, how did we first meet?
At Crack 'em Up Thursdays at the Comedy Store. You had went up, and I was like, okay, who was that? And then I met you at the end. I shook your hand, and you were like looking at me. I'm like, was she in the audience? She was just on stage, right? Like, come on, not for real. Like, okay, I'm good meeting you too. Like, you was hollering at me on the slick. I'm like, okay, who was that girl?
I was flirting. I was very flirtatious. I was extremely flirtatious back in those days.
Wow.
But you look like you had a little money. Look like you had a little couple of dollars. So but nah, man. Yeah, I met. That's like pretty much where I met most of my comedy friends. Was there, like between the Belly Room and the Ha in North Hollywood, because that was the first time. Like, okay, my first time performing was at the Comedy Store, but I was on the main stage.
Oh wow!
And so I met a dude. I don't even remember who. Like, I never saw the dude. You know what I'm saying? Really anymore after that. But I got up, did a little bit of time, and matter of fact. First time, like, you know how you go up and you put your name on the list or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And I remember the story about how, like, if you was from out of town, you definitely got on stage. So on the list, I put Courtney Jackson from North Carolina on the list to get up. And so they was like, yeah, you up, you picked. I was like, oh, okay, I made it. And so then I met this other dude there that did like a dope Bernie Mac impression. And so from there, he was like, well, yo, I could show you all the spots in L.A. And I was like, okay, but I ain't getting in the car with you because I don't know you and I'm from out of town and all. and so you know me, just being all like new and scared kind of. So yeah, and then from there I just started hitting all the spots, the Union and just different. I mean, everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. How did you get there? How'd you get to Hollywood?
How'd I get to LA? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Me and my cousin drove. We drove from North Carolina to 39 hours, Ronnie Ray. 39 hours in the car with my cousin who didn't wear deodorant. No, I can't. I can't with shoes. Like, I understand you want some black power. I can't use the man's deodorant. Yo, I'm gonna need you to do something because this car is right and steamy. It was crazy, but she was the only person. Love my cousin. She was the only person who was down to, like, you know what I'm saying, help me do that. Because I was like, man, I had been wanting to move to LA for years at that point. And she was like, man, let's go. I had just got a new whip. You feel me? And I was like, well, it'll make it. I know it'll make it.
Wow.
So yeah, I had a Malibu. I had a Chevy Malibu. And it ended up getting repo. But I had it for a while though.
Wow.
Yeah. So
nice.
but yeah, that's how I got out there. And you know, I don't know right away. I don't want to go into too much detail because I know you got questions and stuff. So,
No, you be free. I'll let you know when you need to stop, but you straight. I'm loving it.
Yeah. So my getting there story was crazy. I would tell people like, I had a homeboy that I was gonna move in with. When I first got to LA, he lived in Burbank.
Okay.
And we went to college together. So like all of them, the months I was planning, he was like, "Oh, you good? You straight? You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to worry about nothing." And when I get there, dude changes his mind.
What?
Like, wait, what? What you? No, he was like, well, I got a roommate now, and my roommate ain't really cool with, you know, nobody being here. I was like, we get ready to fight, dog. We get ready to fight. Because I don't have no plan B. Like, I can't really fight. I got baby hands. But, dog, we get ready to scrap because we don't have nowhere else to go. Like, I don't have nowhere else to go. You play too much. So anyway, I ended up moving. My cousin that helped me drive out there. I ended up moving in with her homegirl who needed a babysitter.
Oh, wow.
She was like, I could stay if I kept the baby.
Dang.
I was like, oh yeah, I love the kids. Yeah, I do, whatever you need. So yeah, I stayed with them for a while, and that was like my intro to LA, being a babysitter.
Wow.
Yep. I was babysitting by day, and I was bartending by night at Mixed Nut.
Oh, yeah. Damn, you worked at Mixed Nut? I didn't know you worked there.
Yeah. And all I ever made, because like I really don't consider myself like that I was a real bartender because I only knew how to make 3 drinks. I only knew how to make 3 drinks. I promise you. I knew how to make a blue motorcycle. I knew how to make a Cadillac margarita and a Long Island. That's it. That's all I had.
Wow.
That's it.
You couldn't make a rum and Coke? That's easy. Never mind. That
was pretty self-explanatory, Ronnie Ray.
Okay.
If it had like obvious ingredients.
Yeah, like you can make a water and lime.
Like, can I get a crown? You know what I'm saying? Like a cranberry and vodka.
Right.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool. All the ingredients is listed.
Okay.
Cool.
Any of those specialty drinks? You can make 3 specialty drinks. I got it.
Right. Yeah. So,
wow. It's Q&A Ronnie Ray season 4. I'm on the phone with my girl Goldie Jackson, man. Goldie. The name Goldie. Your name wasn't Goldie when you got to LA. Your name was Goldie because this famous.
You know my name was not Goldie when I got to LA.
I know. You about to tell me how you got it. You about to tell them how you got the name Goldie.
It's hilarious. So, and it's funny too because I always wanted a nickname. Like all my life, I wanted a nickname, and I was just like, "Ain't nobody gonna call me nothing else. Y'all ain't gonna say nothing. Y'all ain't gonna call me Big Head or Big Bud or like nothing." So finally, I get to LA, and 2 months after I get there, I get the audition for Flavor of Love.
Wow.
So it was super quick. You know, a chick, this girl I met on a video shoot, wanted me to come to the audition with her. I was like, girl, bye. Girl, bye. Ain't nobody about to do that. I'm not going to go on a Flavor of Love. No. Well, at the time, it was like just Flavor show. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. And she was like, please don't make me go by myself. You know, and I was like, well, I ain't doing nothing else. And see, you know what, Ronnie Ray, I've noticed in my life, this is where I always get into bad situations. When I be like, well, I ain't doing nothing else. So, yeah, that's how that be going down.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, so I went. It was 3 people in line. I was like, dang, don't nobody want to be on this show. Dang.
Wow.
So, did that. And man, got it. I got it, and she did.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. So anyway, you know, as y'all know how the story goes, I went on there and got my name. I was super drunk when I got my name, so I don't remember what he said. Like why he called me Goldie. You know, I really don't remember, but. You know, so it was cool. I like it. It was better than some other names I heard. So, you know, it was cool.
Yeah, he jacked some people up. He jacked some people up with that.
Yeah, he did. By the time he got to the 3rd season, like he was just like he didn't even care no more.
Oven mitts.
The first word that popped in his head, like that's on Tutti Frutti.
Diss Rag Johnson. What? Diss Rag Johnson? Nigga.
Right.
What was the? We're gonna talk about the show briefly. What was the craziest thing that happened that we didn't see?
Probably New York sleeping with him in the closet.
What?
Yeah. Oh, shoot, allegedly. Let me say that. I gotta say that allegedly.
Right.
Sleeping with him in the closet. I never saw this. I never saw this with my own eyes. But yo, we was having our little private conversation. So she said she needed it. He had it. So it was what it was.
Wow.
Oh man. Meanwhile, I was trying to get with the camera dude who was not the camera dude could not talk to us at all. But I kept being like, you can get it if you want it. You know what I'm saying? Turn the camera off. Turn the camera off, homie. It could go down tonight. So yeah, they was like, man, she's distracting everyone.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it was fun. I'm trying to think I don't know, I feel like y'all saw a lot. I got caught one time on my phone. We wasn't supposed to have no cell phone at all. You had to turn your cell phone in at the door.
Wow.
I was like, what kind of prison setup is this?
Wow.
And so we couldn't, but I gave him a dummy phone, and I had my phone on me. You feel me? Ain't nothing slow around here. So, but they had microphones everywhere, and they would have microphones dropping from the ceiling, and it was one in the bathroom. I'm like, dang, ain't nothing sacred. Ain't no room sacred.
Wow.
So the bathroom, I'm talking on the phone, and then the producer busting the door boom. hey, go give up the phone. I'm like, wait, no. I didn't So they got me, man. They got me like midway through taping. They got me. So then I was really like, it was all, just focused on the house. Because we couldn't leave unless, the show was taking us somewhere together. You didn't know where you had no idea where you were. Like, we was low-key hostages, like, low-key. Like, they kept, like, feeding us and giving us alcohol. So you was just like, I guess it's cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you remain friends with anybody from the show?
I did. Well, I did at the time. Like me and Hoops got real cool. Pumpkin. Smiley. New York. Man, I'm forgetting people, but yeah, them just the couple few that kind of popped off at the top. But I take it back. Me and New York was never friends. we was cool though. Like I think we entertained one another.
Oh, okay.
Cause we used to say like little slick stuff to each other, and what I mean, she'd be like, Goldie, I know you country, I know you like to cook. I'd be like, I ain't getting cooked up for you. I ain't getting nothing for you. So that was kind of our little back and forth, like just saying little stuff, but it definitely, as fun as it probably looked, it was even more fun being there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then we didn't really interact. We didn't really interact with Flav as much as I thought we would. He would just kind of pop in to shoot certain scenes, but then he would pop out. So it was really just us there most of the time.
Wow. Okay. Mm-hmm. Before we get off this, I gotta ask you this. My family was a big fan of the show. My brother, I know he was. The one that edits this show. He's gonna be mad if I don't ask this question because he loved what Flav said after you did it.
You say your brother a big fan, huh?
He'd be mad as hell if I didn't ask him this. Because Flav was like, Goldie, where have you been? What made you kiss him?
Okay, so what made me kiss him was the liquor. Okay, so let me just put this out here. I don't drink no more. Okay.
Oh wow. Okay.
And but alcohol used to have me real like lovey-dovey, touchy-feely. Just the men that I used to hang out with all knew this, but yeah. So me in New York had been in the room for hours getting ready, and then, of course they feeding us alcohol. Mm-hmm. So we were drinking, and by the time we got ready to go eat, man, I was done. I mean, done, gone. So when I saw Flav, I was like, all right, boo, Al, come here, let me show you some love. Come here, Al. And it just happened, man. But see, what I thought was crazy was when we got back to the room. See, he thought it was gonna go down. What? And when we got back to the room, like the liquor, by that point, I had ate. The liquor had wore off. And I'm looking like, oh, no, man, I got to get out of here. I remembered I was a hostage again. I was like,
wait a minute. This is starting to look familiar. Right.
Oh, man, yeah, I started looking at him like, oh, no, he's pretty facially challenged. I don't need to do this. So, yeah, and then that's when, he was just kind of like, oh, Goldie, you seem like you getting cold. Like, nah, you ain't never lied, all my faculties have come back. wow. Yeah. So I promptly got eliminated the next day.
You did. I watched the show. The next week you were gone. If you wasn't going that day.
Yeah. Wow. And so because they stretch it out on TV,
right.
So it looks like it's like a whole other episode and it's a long time. But nah, it was the next day.
How long was the whole process?
I was there for 3 weeks and 2 days.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So quick, but when you don't have any outside world interaction,
right?
It feels like it's just so long. You know what I mean? You're just engaging with those people. So
wow.
Yeah, man. When people got eliminated, it was so devastating. It was like, no, my friend is gone. Oh no, you was so devastated. And we would go like, if you got eliminated, you would go upstairs. You know what I mean, and get your bag for them to take you home. And you would write your information, like you would put your real name and your phone number on the mirror in lipstick.
What?
So everybody, yes, that's what we would do when people went home, so people could contact you after the show.
Wow.
Yeah, because you didn't know nobody's real name.
You're right. Wow. Flavor Flav. Never thought I ever see that shit ever. Like you need to show the date that nigga.
I know. So it's amazing to me now. Like we of course we got paid. People ask me like, "Oh, did y'all get paid?" I mean, of course I got paid. Like I wasn't gonna do no TV show and not get paid.
Right.
But now the money they make now, I'm like, oh my God, yo, let me in. So I need to be on Love and Housewives, Basketball Wives, and on the Bachelorette. I need to be on all of that right now, for real.
That dismisses the next question. I was going to ask, would you do it again? And I guess you would.
Do what now?
That dismisses the next question. I was going to ask, would you do it again? And you pretty much just said yeah. It kind of depends on the show. Mm.
I don't know. I never say I won't do, reality TV again. I will, but for one, it's gonna be something I'm producing, and it's gonna be something that puts me in a positive light.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I won't ever be a contestant again.
Okay. I won't be right.
No, right. We're not doing that.
I'm gonna say this about Flav though. I always say this on this show, and everybody that asks me the question, who was the coolest celebrity I met, and he was the coolest celebrity I met.
Oh, Flav?
Flavor Flav was the coolest celebrity I ever met.
He is. He's amazing.
He's cool.
Yeah. Like I clown. I'm gonna tell you what's funny. Like we did a week in Columbia, South Carolina,
mm-hmm.
and we were at the comedy house down there, and so he hosted, and I featured the show. Barbara Carlisle was the headliner.
Okay.
And so I got jokes about Flav, you know what I'm talking about, like that, like he's basically challenged. His mama looks just like him with a wig on.
She does.
Like, yeah, I come for him a little bit, and I felt so bad. I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing jokes about this dude, and he's standing right here. Oh man, I'm like, my bad, boo. I love you though. I love you.
Yeah, what'd he say? What'd he say after that?
He was cool. Flav was like, get your money.
Oh,
he didn't care. He did not care. He was like, get your money. You steal my baby. Like, we good. Like, okay, good, because I don't have time to write no new set right now. So yeah, we gonna roll with these.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Flavor Flav.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Yo, this is Q.
Oh, but you know what? I will say this. I have to shoot my shot. You know what I mean? I gotta shoot my shot anytime I'm on something big as Ronnie Ray show. Old boy Kofi, Saturday, old boy from Queen Sugar. If he did a show, I'd be a contestant on that, though. I'd be a contestant on that.
I didn't know that. I didn't know dude's name. I know who you're talking about, though. Wow.
Yeah, Yeah, Ralph Angel. Yeah, oh yeah. He a young boy too. He a young boy. Shout out to the young boy.
Okay, you shooting your shot on my show. Okay.
I did that.
Pretty good. Okay.
But what's up? Next question.
All right, no, I gotta do a tag. Hold on. It's Q&A Ronnie Ray season 4. I'm on the phone with my girl, Courtney Goldie Jackson. We just talked about Flavor Flav. If you just timing in now, even though we're a podcast, you gotta start from the beginning. So you better go back to the beginning and then listen to it. She just shot a dude from Queen Sugar. So if he listens to the show, hey, I will have him come back to do a rebuttal to what you said. You say you started comedy. I wanted to know what made you start. Was that what you went to LA for, or you just wanted to be on TV?
So what I said is I wanted to. Okay, so it's like when I was in undergrad.
Okay.
I was doing some plays, and I was trying to get into some acting. But that kind of just sparked everything. I was like, man, I wanna act. And people used to always tell me I was funny. They was like, man, you crazy, man. You crazy. You should do comedy. And so where I was living in North Carolina, it wasn't nowhere that I knew of to get up and perform. So it kind of was like a duo thing. Like if I just go to LA, I know everything I want to do is gonna be out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was just like I'm going to LA to make it. I guess I probably felt more confident with the acting than I did with the comedy.
Really?
And so, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna just get up. When I get there, I'm gonna just get up. So I was looking for a job on Sunset Boulevard my first week, and I'm going out Sunset, and I'm applying for bartending jobs because I got my 3 specialty drinks that I know how to make. Okay.
Got them 3.
Right. So I'm walking out Sunset and I see the Comedy Store, and I'm like, oh, it's fate. That's God. Yep. I'm about to go over here and try to get on stage. And so that's how that went. And I really just fell in love with it. For comedians like such as yourself, you already know, like, comedy is like therapy.
Yes.
It's fun, but it's so the place for you to get it out. Whatever it is, you can get it out and talk about it. And it's like, man, it's all good because it's comedy.
Right.
Yeah.
You laughing now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that I'm saying, that was dope. That was dope, and it was always a thing where I just wanted to get better and better. Which is why I moved to New York in 2011.
Yeah.
And I went to New York and was like, okay, all right, let's go. Like, this is where everybody says you get dope. You know what I mean? Like, you really get polished.
Right.
And so I did LA for about a year. New York for about a year, and I could tell the difference. You know what I mean? I could feel it.
What's the difference?
I could feel, man, it's harder. The rooms are harder. It's faster. Just everything moves faster. So, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, and you have so many different types of people that you're performing in front of. Like, one night, it's an all black room. The next night it might be all white. Next night it might be an all Haitian or all Jamaican room. And and it's like, okay, let me see how all of this I'm talking about is rocking with these different cultures. And so you kind of just pick up stuff. And it was it was good. But then I ended up having to come back home because my dad got sick.
Oh, wow.
So I came back home to take care of my dad. And I was super depressed. I was like, oh God. I drove out from New York to the dirt road in North Carolina.
I ain't want to come back here. Well, hey, found first.
Nah. So, hey, shout out to everybody that's taking care of somebody, man.
Yeah, that's why I'm back here, though.
Yeah, I know you was doing that as well.
I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, so man, shout out, man, we love you. Yo, we love you for real. We know what you going through. Your people be wild because they don't care nothing about you been on TV or you.
They don't care about Jack.
Got famous? Nah. They be like, man, you better go in there and fix me something to eat.
You ain't take that garbage out, boy? Take that garbage out. Yeah, nah, it's it's real.
Oh man, yeah.
Ain't no. I'm back in the same neighborhood I grew up in, the same neighborhood I left in 2000. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's a weird combo.
Okay.
It's a weird combo to come back.
Well, how do you feel being back home?
It sucks sometimes. I had this conversation with somebody a couple of days ago. I don't hate it. I learned a lot being back here. I learned how to make comedy a business. Out there, I think they abuse the hell out of you in LA. They don't tell you the real, because I remember going on the road for the first time, and I went through a lot of stuff to get I was trying to hit all those stages, So I would go I go all the way to Oregon for $50, and I'm thinking I'm riding up there 16 hours almost, So I get back here, and in LA, you're doing 5 to 7 minutes at a time. Here, they like, man, okay, close out, do 40. What? Do 40?
Yeah.
And we paying you. So I have not, and as much as I used to pay at the Ha for open mics, I haven't paid it. I've been back here almost 6 years. I have not paid anybody to get on anything. Like, no, you crazy. Even if you go, they like, man, you get a drink. Even if you don't pay at an open mic, they might give you a drink. So I'm like, wow. So they just straight abused the hell out of my pocket back then, man.
Of course they did. Yeah, they got all this great talent, and they just, you working for a drink.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying that's the least. I'm saying that's the least you would get here. You know what I mean? Like, in a sense, like, how much you want, man? Okay, man. Well, I got $80, man. You got what? $80 for 20 minutes? I'm there.
Yeah. Yeah. How long do you want me to do?
Yeah, let's go. Like, I just go up here and just do my thing. It's crazy because nobody knows me. Nobody knew me when I started out here. And it's like, oh, you like that hired gun. Like, okay, man, we can go up first. You want to let me go up first? Okay. It's not to be cocky. Yeah. Well, I'm about to smoke your room. You know what I'm saying? So, here we go. And as soon as I start going there, okay, I think we made a mistake.
No, take that. No, take that. You a beast on that stage, yo. Like, I'm telling you, if you ain't heard Ronnie Ray perform, yo, you crazy. You cheating yourself. Like, this dude is amazing. You an animal on that stage.
Thank you.
Yes.
I remember one time, though, we were out, and I was like, man, I don't know about this place. He's like, you gonna kill it, though. Don't worry about it. I'm like, I need to have you in my damn pocket.
Yeah, no, you're tripping.
And you're like, okay, then I'm on stage and I start ad-libbing. I'm on the ground, like, talking about somebody and shit. And you like, see, I told you. You wasn't even laughing. You just shake your head like, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, because I didn't know what you was gonna do. Yeah, I seen you hit I seen you hit too many open mics and destroy for no reason. I'm like, you ain't getting paid, right?
Yeah, I thought.
Yeah. So, and that was another thing about being in New York. You know what I'm saying? Like, New York stages, they gonna pay you. Like, right. they gonna respect you like that to be like, oh, you got up and did your thing here. Here go $50. Here go $100. Here go $150. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, and then help you get work other places.
Yes.
So that was the beauty of New York. So it was, and other places like Chicago show love like that. I mean, pretty much everywhere else that you do your thing, they show love financially. But LA, it's just they giving you the opportunity to be seen, to get on.
Yeah, well, you go back to the stories. Like, you think about all the people that got on in LA. Like, you hear the story of Roseanne, you hear the story of Billy Crystal and Adam Sandler. Like, Roseanne's story is probably the most amazing one I've ever heard. Like, she probably only doing comedy for 3-4 years. Moved to LA. She goes to the Comedy Store. She goes into the original room where they have the potluck show with 2-3 minute spots. She goes in there. Mitzi sees her. Mitzi Shore, that owns the place, sees her and says, you should be performing in this main room. And she's like, okay. She go in the main room. She kills there. When she was in the main room, the casting director for the Tonight Show was there.
Oh,
she gets put on a Tonight Show like less than a month from then. Gets on there. Julio Iglesias, manager, sees her, puts her on the road with him. After that, Dangerfield, next thing she got a show. Stuff like that happens. You know what I'm saying? That's where it used to be because they were looking for that.
Yeah. So it was like her story was like it was meant to be. It was just meant to be for her to get on at that time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and it's a thing called what they call that, comic strip. They have a documentary on a comic strip. I just watched that, and it's like it's like all them guys are talented. I'm not gonna take nothing away from them, but it wasn't that many comedians out back then. You know what I mean? So you can be seen right off. Even with the Chris Rock story, it's like, yo, Eddie Murphy was probably the only black guy performing at the comic strip. So he comes back. He comes back this star, and he looks around. Chris Rock is putting up chairs. He hasn't even been passed by the club yet. And he's like, man, y'all got any black guys on the show? And he's like, oh, well, he asked for black guys. Well, Chris is in there putting up chairs. And Eddie meets Chris. He said, put him up next. He put him up next. Chris Rock kills it. He kills it. He gets a part in Beverly Hills Cop, and he gets on an HBO special.
Dang. And look, Andy was in Boomerang.
Yeah, he was in Boomerang.
We get into that.
Yeah, he did that. And I remember with the comedy special, the HBO thing, I was kind of like the first Def Jam. It was like Chris Rock was first, Arsenio, Robert Townsend, Barry Sobel, and Marshall Warfield on the show. And that's probably one of my favorite comedy specials to watch. But that's when I first saw Chris Rock. And it's like, who is this guy? You know, and then I saw him in Beverly Hills Cop 2 with a little part. And next thing I know, he's blowing up. And not saying Chris didn't deserve it, because Chris is one of the greatest of all time. So
he is. But of course.
He took advantage of his opportunity, and that's cool. But I'm saying it was. I still say it's kind of easy now, but it was back then than it is now. Because instead of being like 1,000 people, it's like 100,000. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But you know what? I think the game changes, but I think talent still rises to the top.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, now you have, Instagram fame and Snapchat, and you have like all of these online mediums to get out there.
Right.
So, wilding out helps with a lot of careers and put people on. So, I think if you still grinding, so you still gotta grind. But if you're grinding and you're talented, I think you're gonna get on. You're gonna get seen, exposure. And then from there, it's up. It's kind of up to you how you want to go and where you want to take it.
Nice.
But that's why I was telling somebody else. I was like, at this point, it's really no excuses. It's not. You can anybody. If you're funny, whether you're doing stand up or whether you're doing skits or whatever the case, you can put your own stuff out. So those days of I'm in the back, I'm in the club and I'm trying to get like people just, to know who I am and get exposure and all of that. It's kind of like, that still happens, right. But at the same time, it doesn't have to go through that. You don't have to go through those channels.
Yeah, you gotta. I think when you set out to do something like this, any advice I give to people now is like, you gotta know it. You gotta know and say exactly what you want.
Yeah, exactly, and having the confidence. See, it's like it's a fine line, and it's like a mixture that you really got to figure out, because you got to be super confident in your abilities to do what you do, but at the same time, you got to be humble.
Yeah, you got to be amazingly arrogant behind the scenes. You got to be amazingly arrogant.
Yeah, and humble at the same time, because like you know what I'm saying, like people when you get the spot and the chance, you got to kill it. But then at the same time, like when you're dealing with everybody behind the scenes, you got to be personable and cool and not too aggressive, and you got to just be humble. Wow. You know what I mean? So that's a mix that you don't always see. I've seen people that are extremely talented, but they arrogant as hell. So it's just like they turn people off, and they may not even get the opportunity that the person that's less talented get.
Right. Right. Yeah, because sometimes you feel like, man, I'm doing the right thing, but people that's humble and everything. You know, I'm courteous to my peers and all this and that. But the guy who don't give a damn about nobody is the one making all the money. Like, does it suck to do the right thing? You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you just feel bad about that, but you just got to keep the faith and just roll.
Just do my thing. You know, my thing is just do you. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you. Like, stay in your lane and keep pushing. Like, keep pushing with it in whatever your lane is. Because it's going, you know what I'm saying? It's going to happen. Like, my boy, when I first, day one, when I first moved out to L.A., my boy was like, well, how famous do you want to be? And I thought that was such like an odd question. Like, why would you ask me that? Like, oh, nigga, like, of course, I want to be extremely famous. Like, I want to blow up.
Right.
What you mean? But then he, you know, when we talked about it, he was like, you know, you really can be as famous as you want to, but it's what are you willing to do? What are you prepared to do to get it? And within that comes the patience to wait, the grinding, the hustle, and really, really learning your craft. So, are you willing to do it all to get, you know what I mean, to get what you lost? So, yeah. That's, you know,
Hollywood's hard though, man.
I'm gonna try those nuggets. Oh man, it's real hard. Yeah,
it's hard. No joke. But I'm saying, like, it's not the obvious. You know, like, doing comedy is one thing, but living your life, like, that was the first time I was ever away from my family. You know what I'm saying? To go out there and then you go out and life does happen. Like, you just can't go and be a comedian and still, like, survive. Like,
let me tell you, Ronnie Ray, my first Christmas in LA, that was my first Christmas, like, ever being away from my family. Man, I cried like a baby. I'm talking about big crocodile tears. Like,
wow.
Looking back, like, why I can't imagine not being able to be around my family. But I couldn't afford to fly home. I had no money.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So
I missed one Christmas. The entire 13 years I was there, I missed one Christmas, and that was the last one my grandmother was well.
Yeah.
And they called me.
That's a real depression.
They called me on the phone. Dude, they called me, and that was so funny because I was living with my girl at the time, and she went back to Chicago, and I stayed here. I stayed in L.A., and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go and work because they had a project for me to do. I was working like construction or something. And I went to work. I was going to work every day to do it, but they let us off on Christmas early, and I'm like, yeah, I get to go home. And then when I was walking home, getting to the house, I'm like, I ain't at home. You know, this ain't home. So they called me, and they passed the phone around to everybody. You can hear everything in the back. I was probably like I was in my late 30s. I was in tears. I literally shed a couple of tears.
I know that's heartbreaking. You're like, people don't understand. Like, they think, because if they home, you know, it's like all their life, they take for granted the fact that, oh, it's Christmas, I could just go to grandma's house, I could be at my people's house. And they take that stuff for granted. But when you in LA, you're like, one time we had Thanksgiving. Like, we used to always have Thanksgiving at my crib, and we would cook a whole lot of it. I don't know if you ever made it in none of them dinners, but
no, I didn't.
We used to throw them out. And one Thanksgiving, we had Father MC. Comes for Thanksgiving, and like it was so that made our Thanksgiving because we was really just trying to like ignore the fact we couldn't go home and we ain't had no money.
Right.
But we got Father MC now.
Wow. Did he start singing this? What they do for you, you can do for me. You can treat them right.
Oh man, that's funny, That's funny.
Wow.
So yeah, just whatever you could do, you know what I'm saying, to just kind of create that sense of normalcy and family out there. That's what we did. Like the apartment I lived in at one point in time, I think I probably had 6 roommates in a 2-bedroom apartment.
I know a couple of them people.
Oh, I know you do. I know you do. Cause you know what I'm saying? Like we had kind of like the community housing. And what's hysterical is that we lived in an all El Salvadorian neighborhood.
Wow.
So it was ganged out. Like, it was a gang neighborhood, and we was black people, like random black people living in El Salvadorian gang affiliated neighborhood, and they kept spraying 13 on the side of our building. Like, I guess to let the other gang members know that, like, they cool, dog. They cool. They with us. They with us.
Wow.
So it was crazy. It was, you know what I'm saying? It was real kind of hoodish. I mean, you know, it was what it was, man. It was the apartment. It was the apartment.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is Q&A, Ronnie Ray. I'm on the phone with Courtney Goldie Jackson. We talking about our LA days, which is weird. I didn't think we went pretty far. I didn't even really ask you that many questions. Okay, I need to ask this though. I ask all the comics this. All the people that have done comedy before this question.
Yeah, how much we got? We got a little bit more time.
Yeah, we got time.
Okay.
Give me the bomb story. The worst time on stage.
Ooh. I've had a couple of those, Ronnie Ray.
Give me the worst one.
Oh, man, why would you ask me my worst bomb? Oh, you know what? I had one of them, I remember. I had done a show for The Game, the rapper, his mom.
Mm-hmm.
She used to put on a show every year with Ian Edwards. And so we went out there because it was maybe like an hour outside of LA.
Okay. And
we went out there, and it was so like the anticipation was so like much, you know what I mean, for me to perform, and I felt so much love and everything. But I was drinking. Like, I didn't get drunk, but I got real saucy.
Wow.
Oh my God. Yo, Ronnie Ray, I got on that stage, and when I tell you I couldn't remember nothing, no. And she was, and you know how big it was to actually get paid, like good pay for a show.
Yes.
Oh my! When I tell you, yo, like I was up there on some like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Oh, no, it was horrible. I wanted to, and oh boy, the promoter was so pissed. Like, he was like, yo, what was that? What was that? I'm sorry. and that taught me a very valuable, like, I never, from that point to, like, to when I stopped drinking, like, I never drunk again before I went on stage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's why I don't drink.
Yeah, like, no transitions was coming to mind. None.
You can get that call back in.
Woo! Dang. Hey, I like your shirt, though. Your shirt cute. It was so bad. Oh. Yeah, man.
Wow.
Well, now, Ronnie Ray, I don't know. I think I told you, but I went back to school. I got my master's in social work.
That was the next question.
I'm working.
That was the next question.
Yeah. Oh, okay. My bad. I was jumping the gun.
That was good.
I thought we were running out of time. We're running out of time to talk about my last accomplishment. But yeah, man, I went back to school, got that, and so now I work as a therapist. I do child and family therapy,
really, which
is so fun, man. It's so fun. Like, I have so much fun with my clients. I'm always like, my clients look at the kids look at me and they be like, man, what's Courtney? You crazy? You funny? And then I'm just like, yeah, this ain't the only place I be funny though. Like, I do this in other places too.
Oh, okay.
And then like sometimes I get people that's like, wait a minute, you look just like, and then So, but it's cool, man. It's cool. I just took my for all the social workers out there. Woo woo. I just took my licensure test to become fully licensed, and I passed that mug.
Look at that,
feel
right
me? Like, I passed that mug.
Yeah.
Turn up. Turn all the way up.
Turn it up.
So, the future is bright. My goal is to try to. I would like to produce a show, and incorporate some of the therapy concepts into it, dealing with people, and still kind of doing that. It's like a reality show feel where you do confessionals, but just something to kind of bring the now into the past and what people know me for.
A stage show?
No, not that. Not that, like a show, like TV.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, well, you got the chops. You can write a one-woman show and tour with that joint. You know that, right?
Ronnie Ray, I might need you to come on, dog. I might need you to come on as a writer. I mean,
holla at me.
I might need you to come on out of retirement with it now.
I still do mine. What are you talking about? You talking about you? Like, I'm still doing mine.
Yo, writing for other people.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still do mine now.
No, I know you still get it in. I know.
Yeah, I still do mine. Oh, good. Okay. Couple of more. No, you got me. Wait a minute. When did you hear about me quit?
No, you ain't never quit.
I'm in for life now. Like, ain't no.
Nah. I do this every day.
Like, I'm married to this game for the rest of my life. Like, it's gonna kill my ass. I don't give a damn. Okay. This Q&A, Ronnie Ray. We did it in. We're gonna get off with Goldie in a minute. I got a couple of more questions before you bounce out.
You got some more?
Yeah. I always ask this question now. This is always one of the last questions I ask. If you can go back half your age that you are now and talk to yourself, what would you tell yourself? What advice would you give yourself?
Oh, wow. Ronnie Ray. What would I tell myself? To have more fun. I would tell myself to have more fun. Yeah. Do everything. Like, don't be scared to do nothing.
You don't sound like you were scared to do a lot.
You wrong, Ronnie Ray. You wrong. I would definitely have more fun.
Okay. Oh. That's not funny. This is how I know you know me from comedy, because you say my whole name.
What do people call you?
I got five like different names. Like my government name is Ronald Ray. The girls that I dated before I moved to LA all call me Ron. Ronnie Ray for stand up, and in the hood is Bougie.
Bougie.
Yeah, you never heard me do that joke before? Yeah, I think you moved by it.
No.
But it's on my album.
No, I haven't, but why do they call you Bougie, though?
I don't know. It's not like arrogance or nothing. I think my mom used to just say it all the time. I used to laugh, so that's what they called me when I was a kid.
Okay.
So
right.
I
know if you was around the hood, walk around like you better than
no, they be like, "What's up?" They be like, "What up, B? What up, B? What up, Booge?" They say that all the time. So yeah. So when you call me Ronnie Ray, when you call me Ronnie, I know how you know me. Like if you just yell me on, if you yelling at me, I don't see you, I know how you know me. So I'm like, oh, okay, I get to turn around and talk to people. So
yeah. I feel you.
No, Bougie. One of my best friend's dad, I called him when I was in LA, when I was living out there for Father's Day. And I was like, hey, Miss Deutsch, how you doing, man? Happy Father's Day. He like, who is this? I'm like, this is Ronnie Ray. Ronnie Ray. I'm like, Bougie. Oh, okay. Who is Ronnie Ray then? I'm like, that's me. He like, that's my real name.
He refuses to learn your government name.
No, but then he said, he said, I thought that was your real name. I thought that was some African shit that your mama made up. I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, like, he only signing up for your alias, dog. He don't have nothing to do with your government name.
Yeah, they know now. But it was like years. I was like in my late 20s by then. Like, dude, for real? I know you since I was 10. You came to my graduation and everything. They ain't say, oh, Bougie Ray, come get this. No, they didn't say that
Look,
shit.
hey, when they called your name out, he was looking around like, who? Oh.
Well, Bougie must be his friend. He getting his diploma for him.
So when they gonna call Bougie name though? When they call him Bougie out? That's what I'm waiting on right here. I need to hear Bougie.
That's crazy. So.
Crazy.
Wow, that's cool, man. Thank you for doing this, sweetheart. I appreciate it.
Oh man, for you, come on now. You already know. It's nothing but love. Yeah, I wish you all the success in the world. I mean, everything. Like you deserve it. You deserve it. Any man that hits stages for 100 nights, no breaks, no chasers. But come on now, you know you gotta get it. You got to get it.
Wow. That's amazing. That's still the legend. I didn't do it for that, though. But the people still say when I went back to go visit, they're like, man, I remember you hit the 100 mics in 100 days. Man, that was something. I'm like, man, I was at show number 73. I'm like, damn. Like, I announced them before I said it, too.
Right.
I only did.
That was incredible.
I only did that.
Like,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I said I only did that because I had bombed in Miami so tough. I was like, yo, if I go back, I need to make sure that I really want to keep doing this. If I'm going to do it this way, at the end of this run, I have to make a decision if I want to still do this or not. Because I was SAG acting there. I could have really pursued acting. I never really pursued acting that hard. And I should have pushed harder for that too. But stand up, I love the live response. So when I got back from that trip, I said, I'm going to do that. So when you met me, that's what I was doing. And yeah, I didn't care. Like, okay, let me go hit this. I got to go do this spot. Then I have a car most of the time. And I remember detoxing and I was like weak and shit. Like, this is crazy. But I was still going to the shows.
You was on a fast, trying to climb on stage.
Yeah, I was like, man, I remember you like, he looks sick. He okay? I mean, he's like, I'm cool. I'm like, you need to start eating something. I'm like, no, I'm trying to do this detox right now. But yeah.
I saw you on a show. I'm trying to remember which one it was. It was like one of those, like you played like a dude on the beach. You was like hanging out with a crew of guys, and you was coming up to the main. It was like a Disney show.
Oh, that was Victorious, Nickelodeon. Yep.
Yeah, I remember that, and I was like, "Oh snap, y'all! Ronnie Ray on TV, get it? Yes." Yeah.
That's my intro to all my shows now. The only comic to be on Playboy and Nickelodeon. So crazy range.
So if you let me know, I want to know if you could go back and talk to your younger self, what would you tell you to do?
Get educated in the game. Stop. I think Ron G tried to ask me the same question. I have an answer for him. I said somebody else asked it. I'm going to answer it to them. Get more educated in the game. Learn marketing. Remember why you're there. Like I always say that to people that's going out to Hollywood. I say remember why you're there. We were saying it earlier. Like you get distracted because you get there and then life hits, but then you still have your dream. And then you find a good looking chick or whatever, and you guys start getting together and whatever. And sometimes you guys' dreams don't match. You know what I mean? She might be a realistic person. We're dreamers. You have to really be able to control that. You have to say no to stuff. You still got to say yes to a lot of things just to experiment. But if I had to go back and tell myself, I'm like, yo, learn about money. Learn more about your craft. Get more disciplined about stuff. Because it seemed like I'm trying to do it now, but it doesn't seem natural. So I'm forcing it. You know what I mean? Stay in shape because that's important. That's important. Like know you. If you want to be, like that's what my agent said. My agent was Joe Kokowitz, whatever the hell his name is. Back then he was super bold. Like he'd tell me like, okay, you're a good looking guy. But you're putting on the pounds, Ronnie. So you want to be the fat friend or the leading man?
That's hilarious.
And he told me that. And I was like,
put the cheeseburger down.
Yep. He said, you want to be that or that? I can get you more work if you're the leading man type, But you're funny, too, so that's a plus. Matter of fact, he saw my stand-up. Be like, I don't get it, but they like it. So he never thought it was funny or nothing. But I guess it was the look or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
You got it. That's important because you watch TV, observe, pay attention to what's going on. Keep yourself in the best shape you can possibly keep yourself. But it's all.
You know what? That's, I can relate to that. I can relate to that because I felt like I was a little bit on the thick side, like a little thick. And my boys was always like, man, yo, come on, man, you need to get in the gym. You need to get your stomach flat. Right. And I was just like, man, y'all hating. But hindsight, it's like, nah, I really should have been a lot more focused on getting my body tight. I didn't even start going to the gym till after 30.
Wow.
So yeah. So I got it together though. Yeah. I whipped that thing into shape, but how dope would it have been for me to really been on it back then?
Yeah. The bottom line is to just be the best version of yourself. That's it. Like your boy said, do you want to be the best friend or do you want to be the leading man? Yeah.
That part. I had my boy William L. Jobber. He might give me for this, but he was just like he was in an audition and he was helping them do the casting. Mm-hmm. And when I came in, he was like, look, I'm gonna need you to lose, X amount of pounds. And I was like, what you mean? You my boy. Why would you say that? And he was like, cuz, man. He was like, help me help you. He's like, you really can get more roles in a smaller frame. And, I'm still a little on the fence with that because I see a lot of thick girls out here winning.
Yeah, so, it became trendy to be thick now. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, right. So times change, and depending on what bracket you looking at, you might have needed to be real small, but then you cool if you bigger at a different time. So but at that particular time in LA, you needed to be a little thinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, bottom line. The bottom line to answer your question, just be the best version of yourself. Everything that you feel you lack on, find out what you need to know about being the best version of yourself, because that's what you can't. When you do that, you'll walk away with no excuses. Like you did everything that you possibly can do. Like I did everything. Like I'm in this shape. I did this. I've been writing. I've been disciplined. I've been on stages. Everything. I put the headshots out. I got to the people. I was in this. I was in that. I just didn't have a career. So in the end, you can't even complain. So exhaust everything that you can put out. Period. Make sure you do everything before this is over, because this ain't ours to take. So you better enjoy this while you're here.
Right. That's what, and that's, what I'm saying, that's my thing. Like, I didn't want no regret.
Right.
You feel me? Like, no regret.
I should just said that. I just said all that other shit.
Everything that I felt like, okay, you can do this, or you got some talent in this area, like, work it, try it, do it. You feel me? Like, you know what I mean? When I moved home, my daddy was like, you need to go back to school, you throw your life away. I was like, well, I'm going to go back to school, but I promise you after that, I'm going to go back to LA.
Wow.
So, yeah. Just, live it to the fullest for real.
There you
for
go.
real.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's been the show. You want people to follow your social media? No. You don't have to.
Say what now?
You want them to follow your social media? Do you want that on Instagram? Tell them everything.
Absolutely. I'm trying to get these followers up. Y'all, please follow me on Instagram, Goldie, GOLDIE _98, and Facebook is just Courtney Jackson, and that's it. I ain't on none of the rest of it.
There you go. Facebook, Instagram, just dominating.
None of the rest. Yeah. Just, shout out my fam. Love y'all. Shout out Ronnie Ray, the most amazing comedian. Oh, man. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud. It's an honor. It's an honor that you will call me.
Come on, man.
To be on your show. Yeah, thank you so much for the love. It just, I hit up church. everybody, man. Love y'all, man. Thank God. Thank God.
Yeah, sorry for cursing. I remember one time we were talking on the phone, like, I don't do that no more. Like, I'm sorry.
Exactly. I gotta get creative now because I don't cuss no more. Yeah.
No, but write that show, man. Write that one woman show.
My social life has suffered tremendously since I stopped drinking and turned it up, Ronnie Ray.
Wow.
Oh man, but it's all good. It's all good. Sometimes you gotta make the changes.
There you go.
You do. You gotta make some changes in your life. Cause I was gonna mess around and get pregnant from the wrong dude. I had to chill. I can't have no ugly baby daddy, Ronnie Ray.
Hey.
I can't do it.
That's your call.
Oh man.
Oh wow. Hey yo, and find me www.ronnieRayComedian.com. Everything on there. Check out the other podcasts too. Relationships with my girl Winter Heat and my boy Christian Leslie. We do the Growing Up Shy episode. So it's 3 podcasts out there. This is the first one though. This is the baby right here. So this is the oldest child. So I love this show, man. I'm happy to be back. Thank you, Courtney, Goldie, for being on the show. I appreciate the love, and that's it, man.
Thank you so much, sweetheart. I appreciate you. Love you. Hold it down. We will talk.
Nothing but love and respect. Peace.